Were they tied to martial arts, or there was no weapon skill, right?
Yeah, they didn't have a weapon skill, I don't think. They were pretty much just, they were the only hard-coded weapon type that could be used with martial arts. Um, I don't even remember them having any actual attack attributes whatsoever. They were pretty much just there to take sigils.
Next question is, what was the biggest bug that you wish you could have done a fix for? Or if there was a limit to the game that you could now bypass with today's resources?
A limit to the game. Um, Definitely fixing the attack values on monsters would have been a huge bonus. Um, it's been over 12 years, so I don't remember exactly, but I want to say that monster values were basically capped at like a byte, so to like 255 was the highest you could go. Um, so being able to to bypass slash fix that would have been huge. We could have actually balanced areas instead of adding bullshit casters, like bullshit pain monsters to everything. Um, I know people hated it, but like, hey guys, we couldn't hurt you with anything other than pain, um, which was a huge bummer. Like it was a huge bummer. Um, so like balancing or creating interesting areas was pretty much out of the question. That stuff. So as far as bugs, I wish the trap bug had actually been fixed because it would have been nice to have doors and containers. That was never fixed. Um,
So
yeah.
these were containers that were meant to be like backpacks on your character, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, those were a different thing. But yeah, those basically anything that opened and closed was susceptible to the trap bug because what you did was like trap it and then with a component, and then you could you could then dupe a specific item somehow. I never actually learned the specifics of the bug, or if I did, it's lost in time. Um, but yeah, basically anything that opened and closed, and then you had carryable containers. If you put those in actual other containers, that caused problems as well. It's just a huge mess.
Was there anything in Darkness Falls, the Crusade, that including Cade or Kaid, that players or that somebody possibly never discovered before the game shut down?
Oh man, that question is probably lost on me because I'd been through every block with a fine tooth comb several times during my tenure there, and I remember Sakira and I went through extreme lengths to map everything when we broke everything out. Um, so everything, so I was completely divorced of whether or not players knew things were or were not there. Um, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think so. Players are a very curious bunch. Like they often discovered things that we didn't know were there, and then told us about it, or it eventually became a thing where someone leaked the little secret, and staff would eventually find out, kind of thing. Um, so I would doubt it. I would doubt that there was anything that players didn't ever discover.
So I actually went ahead and answered a question, but I'll ask this for you, as I'm sure is intended for you. How much do you love Nyx?
Nyx, who was that? I love Nyx. We spend a lot of time talking to Nyx because um, Nyx almost gave up on wolves, man. Like we couldn't give up on wolves. Wolves had it rough um, because their wolf forms were like they were easy to hunt in that their defense was okay against creatures, but in like PvP, which is arguably the heart of DFC, I don't know. They just got no respect. Ain't got no respect. So it was very hard. It was easier to balance wolf forms against the PVE stuff, but terribly difficult to do in PvP. And of course, everybody likes their idols. Um, Love you, Nix.
Okay, how about double melee? What is your opinion on that skill? Was it
Oh
too
wow.
strong or no?
Double melee. I think it was. I think it was okay. Um, I think the biggest problem was that we couldn't give everybody cool skills like that. You know, like tappers had tap. Uh, there was fire breath and all that stuff, and double melee was just interesting, like on its own. So I think it was fine, but I also wish we could have given every class something similarly cool, if that makes any sense.
What was to follow up on that? What is a class that maybe lacked a signature kind of skill compared to double melee?
All the healers. All the healers. Like healing was such a bummer. We lucked out that the community had a set of players that like loved the drama of DFC but didn't like the PvP. And I think if that was you, you were probably a healer. Um, but yeah, healers like they were hard to level, and they were, except for Sins, which could kind of PvP with Bane. Um, they they were just kind of a thankless job. They were like staff members, largely ineffectual at higher levels. I kid, but yeah, I think all healers in general, Sins to a lesser degree, but yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears and let's revisit a little project called Sierra.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And I actually didn't write any questions down for this, so this will be all ad-libbed for the most part.
Okay.
So tell me, when did you first start working on Sierra?
Oh man, probably it's probably been over 6 years, maybe 6 or more years. And it started out as I'd always kind of wanted to do something on my own, um, but I just kind of doubted my ability to be able to do so. And it actually all started with AIM conversations between myself and Kolner. I don't know if people know his name, so I'm not going to say it. I almost did. Queller and I started talking about a lot of stuff, just like what we would do differently and what would be cool. What could we have changed? And then we started just kind of ad libbing ideas, And then I'm like, hey, let's try this, and so we did. And yeah, but without Kolner, like I don't think I would have done it. He ended up being Livor. Just how people knew him on the forums. He was kind of strange. I might have just outed him. I don't remember. But he was very. He felt he had a very negative reputation, and so he didn't really want people to know that he was associated. But honestly, he was awesome to work with. Like he would constantly push me. It was funny. It was an interesting balance because the community wanted me to do, and I don't mean this as an offense, but the community wanted me to basically recreate DFC. And I was like, I kind of don't really want to do that, but I, at the same time, like, I don't want to alienate the community that's supporting me, right? So, and then Kolner was like, no, screw that. Let's just do what you want. Like, let's do our own thing. So he was the voice that pushed me to try new things, while the community was the voice that pulled me back to keep things more rooted. And then at some point, once we had the kind of the communications and boring kind of networking stuff figured out, then Jennifer came in, and you've got her art up. It's gorgeous. She did. Jennifer is a saint. She's just a wonderful person, and I really wish things had gone better, because I think I really owe her a lot still to this day. I actually have those prints that you have there. I think there's another that I have framed, and I shoved them in my closet because I just feel guilty looking at them all day. So I recently just I've been packing my house because I'm moving, and I just dug them out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put these back up for inspiration.
So, with that in mind, can we confirm that you have stopped completely, or do you feel that
No,
you want
absolutely
to
no.
revisit it?
I used to so Inferno Dragon, who hates me and always will and always has, um, would always get on my case, like, just admit that this is dead. Just admit it. Come on, there are four lights. I'm like, no, there's three lights. Um, Star Trek joke. Um, there, in my heart of hearts, Sarah is not dead. I just have not been able to get back to that project. Um, in its current incarnation, absolutely, it is not feasible. I think actually the client might actually still be running. I haven't actually looked into that server in a long time, or the server, I should say. But no, it is a project that I eventually want to get back to. In some ways, I hope for the success of your project tremendously, because that will relieve a lot of pressure. Particularly with things that I've always wanted to just kind of go off the rails on a bit.
So, and again, ad-libbing here, but I actually, joined the project as well because if it's not obvious already, I was uh, also equally passionate about making a game again.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question for you is, did you feel like you have a complete concept for each realm and all that? Did you feel confident that you were matching kind of the expectations, I guess, for somebody that was looking for a DFC game?
Yeah, I think so. I think the majority of the work that we have done on the actual realms and the classes is quite a lot. It's quite extensive. There's still a OneNote notebook that a couple of people have access to that kind of details all our plans for the classes, and some of it is actually still kind of general. Like, in other words, we definitely had some realms that were like, these are the skills, right? And then there was others where like, well, we know this is their concept. Um, but overall, I think we had quite a lot of work done on that, and that's the work that is not going to go to waste, right? Because that all that conceptual work is pretty solid. It's only the technical implementation that might need some redoing, porting, etc.
Was there anything, say, like within those classes that you were particularly proud of that you felt was really cool?
Yeah, I really liked. So I talked about healers, right? I think we did a really and as soon as I started talking, my mind just kind of blanked on the specifics. But I think we did some interesting treatments for the healers. So, like, for the evil-ish type class, we wanted to make it so that, for lack of a better analogy, they were kind of like the original Shadow Priests in WoW, where doing damage also healed. So that we could have the healers be more engaged if they wanted to, while still providing healing for their classes. Um, so I think I was really proud of the way that we started incorporating that. There was also some off the wall idea. Conor really, really, really wanted. There was this class planned for like the Goody realm that could make giants. He called them giant stompy robots. They were basically like golems part two, where they were basically like, so it was kind of like golems, where you had to make, or you could make a golem, right? But it was actually more of like an exosuit. So in mechanical practice, it would be kind of like shapeshifting, um, but more like mechanical. Um, and then Pestilence really wanted me to make it so you could chop somebody's arm off and beat them with it. That was his giant contribution. That and also telling me what a horrible programmer I was compared to the people that made Dwarf Fortress, and that I would never be at their skill level, ever.
Sounds like quite the